Hey family, how you guys doing? Welcome back to Retire and Rome with your boy E. Guys, we just hit 1,000 subscribers the other day. I was on the live with my boys, and thanks you guys for the support. We have reached 1,000 subscribers. Okay, now we just got to get the watch hours up so we can start making a few dollars on this channel, right? You know, a dollar here, a dollar there, it all adds up. Okay, guys. Now today's video, I usually talk about my dividend. I come into the portfolio. So, why not just continue about that, okay? So, usually on Saturdays, I make the videos regarding my income for the week, right? This is the past couple of videos on my income and stuff like that. Me getting my visa, my Colombian visa, and mostly about my income coming into the portfolio. But, you know, I'm like, you know what? It's another day. You guys see, I got my green shirt on in the video I made for my other channel. I have my green shirt on because we're talking about money, and I'm gonna try not to make the video long. But the key thing about this video, I want to be more specific on the reason why I show these videos on this channel. Because if you are planning to travel outside the U.S. or live outside the U.S., a lot of times we have this idea that you need a lot more money to live outside the U.S. than you would living in the United States, right? Imagine if you're making 150K and after taxes and you got car payments, other expenses and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you don't have a lot left over after you pay your taxes and all your utilities and other responsibilities. Now that this mainly depends on your job, because if you're making that kind of money, you're working, you might have to work where you stay here 99% of the time, and you have this maybe one or two, I won't say one or two, maybe 3 to 4 weeks vacation time. Some people 6 weeks vacation time where you can take off and do things, right? But if you are planning to retire early, you really don't need a lot of money, okay? You only need, like I said, in a lot of countries, if you got a family, you might need a little bit more. But for me, like I said, for me, having an apartment in Colombia, I have 2 apartments. One is rent and one is I own, right? The one I own is rented. The one I live in is a rental. And I'm planning to buy another apartment at the end of this month, right? Because where I live now, I'm not happy with it. There's no AC, it's hot, and it's not comfortable for me. But this is not about me. This is just me trying to help you guys understand if you are bringing in anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a month, I believe you can live in Colombia. I'm talking about Colombia primarily. In Colombia, with that much. Now, if you're just going to have fun, if you move there to go have fun, I don't think that's enough. You might need to be on the higher end side, maybe the 2,500 side, if you're going to have fun, because you can still, depending on what city you live, your rent can be anywhere from $350 a month to maybe $600 a month. In some case, $1,000 a month, depending on where you stay, and if you're dealing with the right person and not taking advantage of you, you can live in a decent area to where you pay about no more than $1,000. I have a friend of mine who lives across the street from my apartment in Cartagena, in El Laguito, that pays, I think it's about $1,000 a month he pays for his apartment, but he pays his own internet. He pays his own light, water, and gas. So if you add those bills up, it's a little bit over maybe $1,400 a month for that area, right? Now, if you're doing the Airbnb month to month, and you expect the landlord to pay your light, water, and gas plus the rent, you're gonna be spending at least $2,000 on the low end. If you do month to month. Now, if I do month to month, most cases that's the price I charge, about $2,500 on my apartment, because of the light, water, and gas. I have to have people coming in there at least once a week to clean the apartment to make sure everything is okay. These people got to be paid. I have apartment managers that manage the apartment to make sure everything is okay when you call with an issue. Those people have to be paid also. So a lot of times, when we travel outside the U.S. and figure, oh, well, is the place in Colombia, so it's supposed to be cheap. In Cartagena, Boca Grande, Castillo Grande, El Laguito, those are the most expensive places to live in Cartagena, Colombia. Okay, guys. But if you live outside of that, I've never been to Medellin, so I cannot talk about Medellin. I've seen a lot of videos. I have friends who travel there many times. So I can't speak on the Medellin rental market, but I can speak on Bogota, I can speak on Villavicencio, Bucaramanga. Those are places that I stay, Barranquilla. Those are places that I stay for a longer period of time. So I know, like I said, if you have $1,500 to $2,500 a month in income, it can be passive income, it can be like me, my dividend income that we're going to talk about later on. If you got those funds coming into your portfolio or into your bank account, right, for something that, or even if you're retired, you're on Social Security. If you're generating anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a month, I don't know what Social Security pays. So of course, I'm clueless. If you have a pension that pays that kind of money every month, or you have a job that you work remote that will allow you to live outside the U.S. Can you imagine if you got a job making $3,000 or $4,000 a month? Even $2,500 a month, living in the U.S., you're struggling. But if you take that $2,500 to Colombia, right, or even the DR, you are living the life of luxury, because you can find while I live in Villavicencio, you can find a very, very nice apartment for $350 to $400 a month in a Stratus 5. A Stratus 4 and a Stratus 5 neighborhood, right? Those are the decent neighborhoods with 24/7 security, all of the amenities, and you're not living in the hood. You're living in a very nice place that's walkable. You can walk to the store. You can walk in the neighborhood without worried about getting robbed, because it's just the kind of place it is. So with that said, I just want to talk about, I talk about investing all the time, but I don't really talk about the need to invest, right? So if you need to retire early, you can be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. It don't matter how old you are, but once you start and you have a plan, you got to go. For me, I'm not my buddies always say, man, Ed, you got money. Yes, I have money, but I don't spend money like everybody else do, right? I spend money on things that make me happy, right? Things that make me stay around longer, stay healthy. I spend money on those things. So if you are considering retiring, but you're like, I don't know what to do, if you need to talk to me, book a session, one-on-one, we have a conversation. I'll help you point you in the right direction to get you to at least get you started, to get you where you need to be to get to the next level. Okay. What week was this? This was 7 days ago. So this was last week. So last week we generated about, what was that? $4,700 in my portfolio, right? So this is in the U.S. Some people make this in a month, right? And after taxes, some people make this a month. And this week, surprisingly, we generated over $8,500 plus dollars in my portfolio in 1 week. Okay, and this is thing of recurring. So I was saying, if you're making $2,400 a month, or you have passive, let's forget about making. If you have a passive income coming in every month at a rate of $2,500 a month, and you need to leave this place, leave the U.S. and move outside the U.S., especially Colombia, and you want to get papers, nomad visa, all that stuff, reach out to me. I have the lady who did my Colombian visa. She's a good attorney, and it's not expensive. With the fees and everything I pay, what was that? What did I say I pay? With the fees and everything, I was paying 4 million pesos. 4 million pesos, that was with the fees, right? She paid for all the fees, right? Everything I had to pay for visa fees and all the other stuff, she paid all of that, and I just pay her at the end of the day, and everything is broken down. So you're not gonna worry about she's getting you and all that stuff. And she's really good people. So if you need a good attorney, reach out to me, and I will refer you to her, and you can talk to her and do whatever. I don't get no commission out of this, right? I'm just referring somebody that did me a good job to get my Colombian residency. Now, my situation may be different from yours because I have a Colombian child. So getting my paperwork, my visa, my resident visa is a lot easier. Plus, I had the income and backing and all the other good stuff to go along with it. No record, none of that, stuff that would affect that. Okay. So with that said, I know I've been yapping for a minute. We're going to look at the last couple of weeks. Okay. So this is my dividend tracker, I track for the week. So I have multiple portfolios that I have. This is I call it my cost of living portfolio that handle any of my expenses like food, car, all that stuff is in there, right? But before that, right, this portfolio here now, which is generating around $1,400 a week. I mean, $14 a week is primarily set up to pay my daughter's tuition. That's what this portfolio is set up for, to pay her tuition in the university, which is about $20,000 a year. And I thought about it, I was like, instead of me giving the school 20 grand a year, let me put this money in an investment account that's going to generate income, and we can pay the school, the tuition. And every year, I want to have to get this because I want to have to build this portfolio to that $20,000 one time. Once I get it to that 20 grand, every year it's gonna generate that same amount of money or more to pay the tuition. I would never have to pay tuition out of my pocket again. Now, I know you guys will be like, but Edwin, there's only $14 in the portfolio, right? So this portfolio was generating enough to pay her tuition. But what I did was, because I have margins in this account, I transferred this portfolio into this portfolio, and then I restarted this portfolio without margin. So pretty much this portfolio is a couple months old, if that, right? That I started over again. A month and a half, I think, almost going on, a few months old, going on 3 months. I restarted this portfolio over without margins, right? Margins is where you borrow a loan from the bank and you can use that money to invest, and then they charge you interest on a daily basis, all that kind of good stuff, okay? So I took that and stopped it. And now I'm recreating the portfolio, but for now I pay her tuition out of this account, which is my cost of living account, my car account. This account right here is my car account. My Tesla is about $680 a month. It's what I pay for my Tesla. But this portfolio was generating like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. But another thing I have margins in this portfolio. It's like a loan, like I said, you borrow and you pay back. But the problem with margins is when the market is down, let's say you buy something for $10 and the market goes down, it dropped down, let's say to $5. So now you owe the bank a difference in $5 because you borrow $10 to buy that position that is now $5. So the bank gonna do a thing called a margin call, requesting you pay back $5 in margin. So imagine if you have thousands of those positions, and each one of those 500 positions down by $1,000, right? By $500. Now you got to come up with that money to pay them back. So that's how the margin call works. So of course I ended up transferring this position into this position also. So now this position there's no more margin in this position. There's no more margins. This is the only one that have margin. And I decided to create this account. It's like a checking account, but you can invest out of it. And I decided, I said, well, I'm going to move this position from this account to this account so I don't have to deal with fractional issues. Because with this account, if I have $2 in my account and something is $5, I cannot buy it. I have to have the entire amount to buy it. But with this account, if something is $1,000 and I have $1 in my account, I can buy $1 of that $1,000 position. Even though I need $1,000, it will allow me to buy a fraction of that position with that dollar. And for me, I love that more because it's a mental thing that I feel like all my dollars is being put to work, right? The key is to take the cash and put the cash to work, period. Okay, instead of sitting there. If I need my money sitting in somewhere, I can put it in a 4% yield, a savings account, high yield savings account, and collect returns. But this is not the case. This case is to generate income to live off of or do whatever I got to do. Now my job is on the other hand does not restrict me, so I can work from anywhere in the world. So for the first week, right, we generated $12,000. All right, July, August. The first week we generated $12,000. Okay, the first week in August we generated $12,000, and some of this money, of course, go back to pay off the margins, the money that I borrow, and I can reinvest more and all that good stuff. Okay, the second week, week 2, from August 4th to the 8th, right, we generated $4,744.35. Now you can see that every week the amount different. Okay, some week it pay more, some week it pay less. It just depends on what I'm buying, what I'm investing in, and what the return is for those positions, right? And then the third week, which is the week we just had this past week, I generated $7,000 in my big boy. I call it my big boy account. I think I'm just going to name it my big boy account. And then in my cash management account, we did $18.25. And in my car account, we did $1,200. Okay, so last week we did $80, and the week before that we did $400. Okay, so when we bring those back together, I have already made enough money, right, to cover my car payment for 2 months inside of this account. Now, can you guys guess how much money I have in this account? Guess. Put it in the comment, okay? Put it in the comment. But the amount of money I have in this account is only $12,000 right now. Okay? $12,000 is paying off a $40,000 car note. Now, of course, I invest in risky stuff. I'm not telling you to invest in this stuff. The goal is to encourage you to invest. Okay? That's the goal. Now, we still have 2 more weeks left in this month, right? So for my car account, we've already generated $1,200. What's my calculator? Let me pull out my calculator. I had it out. Okay. Some of you guys are good at math. I'm not one of those mathematicians. I was at some point when I was in school, but you know, that been many months ago. So we're gonna go back over here. All right. The first week we did $418.88. We hit the plus sign. We come down here. Second week we did $80.20. And then this week, $1,223.67 equals. All right, let me move my mug out the way. All right, so like I was saying, $1,700 in this one portfolio in a month's time. Okay, now that is amazing. Okay, and this is my car portfolio, of course. My daughter tuition portfolio, she just went back to school. She's still in the dorms, in the dorms. So of course, that's a different scenario. That's a different thing. And we pull that income, right? We pull that income out of this portfolio. Okay, so We did 11,000 last week, the first week. The second week we did 4,000. So if you add this, that's $15,000 right there, 16 grand plus. If you add this and this, it's 16,000 plus. I'm just doing top of my head, okay? Then you got another $7,000, okay? So that's $27,000 right there by itself from just 3 weeks, okay, guys? Now, I'm not saying this to brag or anything like that. I'm here, you guys know, I try my best to motivate and to help people like you and myself to get to the next level. Now, this is my Robinhood portfolio, okay? Right now, I have $2,600 in this portfolio. Like I said, it's new, it's a couple of weeks, about like 3 months old. This is from the last week, Friday. Okay, but if we look at the week, my portfolio is down $20-something because of everything that happened last week in the market. Okay, but we still, even though we're down last week $20-something, we still got $100-something in distributions that came into the portfolio, right? And this is not the overall. If we look at a month, we up $90-something in the portfolio. You can see the up and down in the portfolio. You know, Friday was kind of crazy. You guys can see that big dip in there. But it came back up, you know, going towards the end of the day. And then the 3 months, you know, it shows the same steady climb. You get a little dips here and there, but it continued to grow and become bigger. Now, of course, like I said, I used to have funds in this portfolio before that was transferred out of the portfolio. So if I go up to a year, it shows, you know, what I had in this portfolio before, $22,000 there. And then you can see the difference in the amount. When I highlight it, you see $8,000 in gains, right? That's how much growth the portfolio had. And then, of course, when we got to where I started to transfer stuff out of the portfolio, we sold out of the other positions and transferred out of the portfolio to where it is now kind of a flat, okay? To where it is now, all of something is kind of a flat line. And it's going back up, okay? But I wanted to share that with you guys. So you don't have to say, a lot of time I talk to people, they'll be like, oh, I'm waiting till I get this loan amount, I get this money come in, and then I can invest. I mean, if you're waiting for something to come in for you to invest, as soon as you get that thing or whatever you're waiting for, something is going to happen, and you're going to spend that money on something else. So the thing is to create an account, start your investment journey, right? And like I said, with this thing right here, you can open an account, you can put $100 in there a week, or $50 a week, or even $10 a week, and you can have 10 positions, and you can buy your 10 positions. My thing I recommend, I say, if you have 10 positions, put the money in there, try to buy a position every day. Don't automate it. It's easy to automate, but you want to get in the habit of doing it, so you want to do it yourself. Buy the stuff that you like, that you think is good for your portfolio, invest in that. But do $1 a day for the first few weeks. Get in the habit of checking your portfolio. It's your money, right? Just like you go to work, you check your hours to make sure you don't get short. This is your money. So you're investing in this, and for your retirement, for your children's school, for your retirement, if you don't have any kids, if you want to move outside the U.S. to another country, guys, in a lot of places in the world, in this world, right, you can move and live with about $24,000 a year. A lot of places, even in some places in the U.S., you can live with $24,000 a year. You're gonna be struggling in the hood somewhere, but you can still do it here. People do it all the time. But if you take that $24,000 outside of these United States and go somewhere else, guys, you know, I'm saying this, my apartment I pay $350 a month for my apartment. Okay? $350 a month. And I'm gonna show you guys something, because a lot of times, when you talk about stuff, people don't believe it. That's not the one I want. Monthly expenses. Okay. Let it open up. So this is my bill, estimated bills for September, but we in August right now. So you can see right here, this is income from my rental, right, for this month. And to tell you the truth, guys, I really don't like my place rented a lot. So because I feel the less amount of people in there, the less it's going to be torn up. And this is rent, and this is not correct. That should be $350. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. That should be $350. But this is the last month that I have to pay this rent, because, like I said, I'm buying a property at the end of the month. So, and I'm paying cash for it. This has been going on for the last four months. We had an agreement where I can spread the payments out. So this $350 here will be gone. And I get a new bill, right? But so pretty much, if my light bill come out less than $200 a month, because some months is more, but most of the time is on average is about $250. Just depend on who's staying and how much to run the air conditioning. And then also sometimes, it just depends on the rate and what I pay my manager, and cleaning, this amount goes up at the end of the month, because I track everything, and pretty much, like I say, this cover all of my living expenses: my light, my water, my gas, my internet, HOA due for the condo in Cartagena, and this is in dollars, and the pesos are over here. So every month, of course, the rate change. So when the rate change, I change the amount over here. When I pay, I mark it as pay, and right now I'm only waiting on the light bill. Okay. But you can see my gas bill for Cartagena this month was $6. That's crazy. $6. Okay. The water bill for Cartagena was $75. And this is, even if the apartment is empty, we're still paying about $50 a month because of the Stratus. We pay for the poor neighborhoods. We pay part of their bill, so that gets subsidized to the people that live in the Stratus 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6, I believe. Right. So this is what it is. So if we go to September, of course, now this amount here, this rent amount is gonna go away. I thought I fixed this thing. I guess I didn't save it. This amount is supposed to go away, so there will be no more rent. So now I have extra money. I'll go ahead and delete this right now, because I don't need that in this portion no more. And I get HOA dues instead. So HOA dues is $81.05 if you pay before the 10th. If you pay after the 10th, it may be $90. But this is that. Let me save this right here before I forget. So this is what I spend, and this is for 2 places. Can you imagine, right? If I was just renting and paying my $350, I won't have to worry about HOA dues. I still got to pay internet, light, water, gas. This is essential, so it's not that much. But in the new place, I have air conditioning, so the light bill, it might be maybe $100 a month, because I'm running the AC every night when I'm asleep. When I'm making videos, I'm gonna turn the AC on to keep me cool. So I'll be running it, every day, pretty much every day, right? For anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day, the AC. So of course the price is going to change. So this is just my sheet, right? And this is not including food. This is not including food at all. This is just the expenses, daily expenses. Okay, for food, I got groceries and laundry under here, right? But detergent, usually, if you're looking at detergent per month, because usually you buy the bag of detergent, it might last a month or two, so maybe 3 months. It just depends on how much laundry we're doing. But I got $4 in here, and then groceries, right? It depends also. So this amount for groceries, just grocery, going to buy meat, chicken, and all that stuff, we spend less than $200 a month, and there's 6 of us. Okay, there's 6 of us live in that apartment. Now, if it's just for 2 people, that's to be enough. And then I spent another $250, but that is, we go to the supermarket to buy like other supplies and stuff that we need. But then that's still screwed, because I can buy a big 50-pound bag of rice that might last 3 months. So, I won't have to buy rice for 3 months. We'll buy flours, what it makes a ripper, right? We get enough, 6 of those or 8 of those packets might last 3 months or 4 months. So it depends on what I'm spending and stuff like that, right? So guys, I'm just giving the idea. I'm not saying, and it's pretty much this income, right? And this income fluctuates. So 1 month I might get $2,000, $3,000. The next month it might be $600. But this is income that coming in. I feel like once I have it, once this apartment is generating enough to cover these expenses down here, right? Once it's making enough to cover these expenses down here, I can care less. Once it's enough to cover those amounts there, I mean, I'm pretty much good, right? That means I'm not spending money out of my pocket to pay for the expenses for the apartment in Cartagena. And I even talked about selling the apartment, but my girl don't want me to sell it. But I figure I can make more money from that $200-something thousand that is sitting there doing nothing. But guys, I wanted to share this with you guys. And this is my snowboard tracker that tracks my big boy portfolio. I'm gonna name this my big boy portfolio. I gotta go back and name that, because I always call it my big boy portfolio. And right now my portfolio is down because of everything that happened in the market. Friday we were down $5,000 plus, and overall down $3,000 in the past week. All this happened in the past week. But we're gonna see how things gonna do. And in this one portfolio alone, I'm expecting to generate about $300,000, almost $400,000 a year in this portfolio. And if we look at the dividend, right, it kind of breaks it down as accurate as possible, right? And of course, my dividend yield is crazy. It's 82%, and my yield on cost is 57%. So that is great also. And this thing generates about $30,000 plus a month, $32,000 a month. And these are some of the positions I have in my portfolio. A lot of these, some of these already been sold out. So this thing is already updated, because all the sales that I made on Wednesday already been updated. Now, this right here is the next thing to go in my portfolio. It generates a lot of income, but it's a lot of stress. Well, I won't use the word stress. It's just, it's a headache, right? For me, it's a headache that I want to get rid of. And, over time, it's best to deal with it, from where we were at $10 a share. It kind of took a bump up there, went back to 11, and then it's been taking a dump since then, going down. So if you guys watch my content, I always talk about whatever coming into the portfolio, whatever going out of the portfolio. I always talk about it all of the time, because I don't want anybody to think, oh, you know what, I'm only sharing the good part, right? No, I share everything in my portfolio, the good and the bad, okay? And this tool is quite decent. It shows the dividend received, $12,000. Capital gains is $38,000. It's down 52%, and then the actual profit is down $25,000. So if you look at this right here, right now I'm at a loss, right? I'm at a loss of, what's that? $13,000. And a $13,000 loss is better to take a $13,000 loss then to take a $30-something thousand loss. So eventually this is going to be going away, and I've sold out of that in this portfolio, so I don't have that in this portfolio anymore. So I sold out of this in this portfolio, and all my other portfolio except for this one. So it's going, like I said, I try to be very, very transparent with everything that I do. And the reason I do that, because I don't want nobody to say, you know what, Edwin, why you didn't tell us this? Why? No. If you pay attention and you listen, I try my best to be very, very, very transparent. So these are the estimated dividend that it might pay out, whatever. But I mean, this is what have been paid so far to the portfolio, and I can go back, cent and based on how much I have. I didn't think it was. I thought it was going to open up to another page, but so these are the dividends that came in from this stuff. But like I said, it's time to part ways with this guy. So eventually, I will be selling out of this sucker and moving on to bigger and better things. Okay, guys. So I hope I'll cover everything with you guys today. And if you have any questions or comments, put it in, comment. Let me know what you guys think. And if it's your first time here, if the content is up to your liking, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so when I post videos, you guys can get, whatever I post. Now, like I said, I try to post video on my other channel, the Dividend Passport Bro. I post video on that channel every single day about my portfolio, what it's doing, what it's not doing. And here, this is more of my retirement channel. So, but you need money to retire. So we still talk about money because I am not fully retired yet. I'm still roaming, but I'm not retired yet. So, and I don't plan on retiring anytime soon because my job allowed me to work from anywhere in the world that I want to. So retiring is, for now, it's not necessary. Okay, guys. So with that said, I want you guys to have an amazing, amazing day. We're going to chop it up again tomorrow. Peace out.